strong enough to counter the weight in my stomach. It might have been from fear. The bridge was super high. Mostly, though, I think it came from missing Dad already. I missed the history lesson he always gave as we drove over the bridge. He called them Forrester Family Fabulous Facts, although I might have been the only other Forrester in the family to enjoy them. As we reached the highest point, I could practically hear his annual lecture playing in my head. The Sunshine Skyway Bridge is the longest cable-stayed concrete bridge in the world, girls. Not the first bridge to span the Tampa Bay, though. The first bridge met disaster. Disaster with a capital D. In 1980, a freighter plowed into it during a thunderstorm. More than 1,000 feet of the bridge plummeted into the bay, killing 35 motorists and passengers. Disaster. That was exactly what this vacation would be without Dad. Nothing close to the magnitude of a bridge collapsing, of course, but disaster nonetheless. Dad made everything more interesting. At his office at the university, he had an Albert Einstein quote hanging above his desk. Once you stop learning, you start dying. He said he wanted to make sure that never happened to Lainey and me. Some things he just knew, and some facts he looked up on the spot. Like when we saw a pod of dolphins, he pulled up info on his phone about their migration patterns. And when we saw a sea turtle, he pulled up images. "Okay, Olivia Forrester," he'd say, as if I were a contestant on a game show. "Name that species. Loggerhead, green sea turtle, or hawksbill." I couldn't imagine an entire summer without his quizzes and Forrester Family Fabulous Facts. Instead of coming with us this year, he'd be teaching history classes to college students. I never imagined I'd be jealous of anyone going to summer school. Then there was Dad's new apartment. One couch, a single chair in the kitchen, and no TV yet. I imagined him coming home to it, all quiet and empty after a day of teaching. He had to be sad and lonely. Grandma and Grandpa were waiting outside their beach house as we pulled into the driveway an hour later. Beads of sweat dotted the patch of wrinkled skin above Grandpa's eyeglasses, and Grandma was fanning herself with a folded piece of paper. Every June, my mom's parents greeted us in front of their turquoise-colored home, a soaring 3-story barrier between us and the beach. When we exited the car, they enveloped us in hugs and a cloud of Grandma's overly sweet perfume. They said what they always say, "Oh, my word, how you girls have grown." There were slight differences, though. Things Lainey didn't pick up on, but I did. My grandparents held Mom a tad tighter and a fraction of a minute longer than usual. For the first time ever, Grandma didn't comment on how much I resemble my father. "Grandma! Grandpa!" Lainey said. She tugged our grandmother out of her embrace with Mom by the back of her sleeveless blouse. "Look!" Lainey pointed to the pink hole in her bottom gum, and our grandparents peered in as if they'd uncovered the 8th wonder of the world. Everyone made a huge fuss over the lost tooth, while ignoring the fact that Dad wasn't there. I turned away from the group, unable to feign interest in my sister's dental development, and saw Aiden standing on the front lawn of the Beachcomber Inn next door. He was taller than last summer, and his hair was different, longer. He wore new glasses. As good as it was to see my summer friend, my legs felt wobbly as I walked toward him. He had to have noticed my dad was missing, and I dreaded explaining why. I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I waved quickly, then shoved them into my pockets. Aiden's grandfather was the caretaker at the inn, and Aiden had been visiting since we were both in diapers. He had always been quiet, yet playful. He inserted funny faces into conversations instead of words. He cracked jokes after barely saying anything for hours. 1,000 times he'd snuck up on me just to give me a fright. I thought our friendship might be the one normal thing left about Florida. I stuck my tongue out, trying to initiate our usual banter, and immediately regretted it. Instead of twisting his features around or mimicking me like I expected, he tipped his head questioningly. He knew me well enough to know something was wrong. I couldn't escape Dad's absence. It was hovering over me even now, making my reunion with Aiden as uncomfortable as everything else. At least Aiden smiled. When he did, his lopsided grin revealed smooth, straight, white teeth. No more braces. It was then that I realized how much older he looked this summer. I felt instantly self-conscious about the purple plastic headband I'd borrowed from Lainey and the lacy frills on my sleeves. The 1-year age difference between Aiden and me had always seemed meaningless before. In that moment, though,